Your first show, and I really liked that show, The Duck Factory, that was like
Really,
your first show, right?
It was incredible.
But I used to love to draw cartoons, and I thought, oh,
Me too.
you played a cartoonist.
This whole thing has brought back my 8-year-old self. It's been a gift from God. It's like literally like brought me back to 8 years old, where I used to sit in my room. Trump is toast.
Time to say the word panties. Over the last 2 weeks, since we left for break, Trump posted on Truth Social 556 times. Behold, the ramblings of a madman. That is real. He was in an especially festive mood on Christmas Eve. Now, just after our show ended around 12:30 a.m., he threatened to terminate us. He said if network newscasts and their late-night shows...
Donald Trump is absolutely losing it, as even Republicans are right now threatening him with impeachment. A Republican congressmember from Nebraska, Congressmember Don Bacon, says that if Donald Trump dare invade Greenland, that Donald Trump will be immediately impeached. And he said that there would be massive Republican support to impeach Donald Trump. And Donald Trump's been getting bad news all of last night.
Jim Carrey. You probably picture the rubber-faced comedian who made you laugh until your sides hurt in Ace Ventura and The Mask. The guy who could twist his face into impossible expressions and turn any scene into pure comedic gold. For most of his career, that's all people saw. But since 2017, Jim Carrey has become something entirely different. A relentless political voice who has used every tool available to challenge Donald Trump's carefully constructed public image. And when he joined forces with Jimmy Kimmel on national television.
Did so much crazy stuff over the last 2 weeks. It would take a 9-part Ken Burns documentary series to cover it all, but I'm going to do my best to boil it down. You know, he hosted an award show over the break. After boasting about what a great host he is and how much better he is than I am and how huge his ratings would be, Trump hosted the lowest-rated Kennedy Center Honors of all time.
As we've seen lately, into monsters. And others into fountains of creativity. Chaplin alchemized his pain, turned it into art. Exquisite, timeless, healing art. Very few people know that the Tramp character's funny walk was because he had worn through the soles of his shoes. He was in pain and trying to avoid the blisters. Trying to stay off his feet.
And he's not handling it well. I mean, the polling data for Donald Trump is absolutely atrocious. Is Donald Trump too old to be the president? The latest YouGov poll, 49% of Americans say yes, he's too old. Only 36% say no, so plus 13 people say that Donald Trump is too old. Would it be accurate to call America a shining city on the hill today? 60% of Americans say no.
The impact was devastating. This isn't about one viral moment or a single talk show appearance. This is the story of a comedy legend who decided he couldn't stay silent anymore. Someone who transformed from entertainer into one of Trump's most articulate and fearless critics. And the evidence is everywhere. It began in 2017, right as Trump took office for the first time, while other celebrities released carefully worded statements or stayed quiet to protect their careers.
And what's going on? I mean, I really, one minute you feel like, oh my gosh, this is going to be, now the landslide's going to start. And then there'll be some other weaselly little, sidestep they do or whatever it is. And, this administration is a rabid dog. And
Donald Trump was sadly not invited to the conclave. He's got other things to work on, including something that he promises will be very bigly indeed.
We're going to have a very, very big announcement to make, like as big as it gets, and I won't tell you on what, but it's going to, and it's very positive. I'd tell you if it was negative or positive. I can't keep that out. It is really, really positive.
22% say yes in this YouGov poll. Is Trump changing America for the better or for the worse? Only 34% of Americans say that Donald Trump is changing America for the better. And that 35%, 34% is basically Donald Trump's cult. That number doesn't really move. Maybe it'll get slightly less, but the rest of America, independents and Democrats, can't stand this regime. Let's talk about the net support.
Jim Carrey picked up a paintbrush. He declared war, not with fists or angry tweets, but with art. Vivid, disturbing, impossible to ignore political paintings shared directly with millions of followers online. The images were brutal. Trump portrayed as the Wicked Witch of the West, surrounded by political allies as flying monkeys. Trump shown as a grotesque figure crafting special meals for House Republicans. The imagery was exactly as uncomfortable as you're imagining. These were not subtle political cartoons.
And, look at him trying to kill me down. It's hilarious. And, and I'm sick of, hold on a second. You know what they're trying to do? Who? This thing is buzzing, hold on. They're trying to turn us into, consumer drones of some sort. Hold on, I just gotta get this.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I'm in the middle of blowing the lid off some,
Are almost 100% negative to President Donald J. Trump, MAGA, and the Republican Party. Shouldn't their very valuable broadcast licenses be terminated? I say yes. And to all, a good night. This is the vision of sugar plums that are dancing in his head as he goes to sleep. And then St. Nicholas offered this cheery salutation. He wrote, "Merry Christmas to all, including the many sleazebags who love Jeffrey Epstein."
For Donald Trump's military intervention in Iran, negative 19%, Cuba, negative 26%, Colombia, negative 29%, Mexico, negative 30%, Greenland, negative 48%. How about the favorability of ICE? Negative 20% right now. In generic ballot polling, Democrats are starting to take a significant lead right now, up 5 in a generic congressional poll.
They were visceral, angry, and unapologetic condemnations rendered in bright colors and nightmarish detail. In one interview, Carrey explained his motivation in a single sentence. He couldn't just sit back and watch the nightmare unfold. That line explains what separates him from most celebrity activists. He wasn't chasing attention. He wasn't trying to elevate his profile. He genuinely could not stand by and watch what he believed was happening to America without doing something. And then came his appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live in September 2018. That's when everything crystallized.
We have a president who started out when the country was together and had a wonderful leader, and he is tearing us limb from limb, destroying every institution.
Let's talk about this Donald Trump, even though we don't want to. Let's bring it on the panel for this.
He's a car salesman. He's a used car salesman.
Absolutely.
And he's, he didn't make America great again, but he did turn back the odometer. So who knows what the hell is wrong with us?
He paints his whole face orange every day. No one's saying Trump is an artist. This isn't exactly a Norman Rockwell. No one is hanging this in a museum. Their other proof he didn't do it is the signature. They say it doesn't look like his signature. It sure does to me. Especially when you compare it to other Trump signatures from that era. They're almost exactly the same. They all end with a long D, which I can only assume is Trump overcompensating for a small.
How about the following? Do you support Trump invoking the Insurrection Act in response to protests against ICE? Only 35% of Americans would support that. Overwhelmingly, Americans oppose. The U.S. military operation in Venezuela was illegal or legal. Way more Americans believe it was illegal. 46% illegal, 31% legal. How about this? Do you think America should take control of other countries by force if it serves our interests? 67% say no.
Carrey walked onto that stage with his familiar energy, but something was different this time. There was urgency. He showed Kimmel his political artwork, explaining each piece with a mix of dark humor and genuine anguish over the state of the country. When Kimmel asked about Trump directly, Carrey didn't hesitate. He spoke about how Trump couldn't steal America's innocence, framing resistance as something deeper than political disagreement. He talked about protecting the soul of the nation, about refusing to let cruelty and cynicism become the norm.
I did The Grinch. Literally, the makeup was like being buried alive every day. And then Brian Grazer came in, and being the fix-it man, and came up with a brilliant idea, which was to hire a gentleman who is trained to teach CIA operatives.
Denied that he took cash in a bag, but he claims he did nothing illegal. What could be illegal about that? And we may never know if he did anything illegal because Trump's Department of Justice dropped the case. You know, they don't have time for this sort of thing. They've got real crimes to solve, like who hit the stop button on the president's escalator.
12% say yes. How do Canadians feel about Americans right now? Shout out Maple Midas. Amongst Canadians, right now, America's popularity is net negative 50%. Way to go, Donald. Negative 50% from our once top allies, where that number was, you know, as high as can be. Now it's net negative 50. Now, Donald Trump's been doing a bunch of deranged and unhinged things. We talked about his furry party that he was throwing.
The most powerful moment came when Carrey described what he believed was happening to America under Trump's leadership. He said the country was being torn apart, institution by institution, limb from limb. That wasn't political theater. It was raw, painful language from someone who truly believed he was watching his adopted country unravel in real time. Carrey was born in Canada, but he became a U.S. citizen in 2004. America was a choice he made.
It's the symbol of the all-mocking tongue, and I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean? Like, for years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, when they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things.
I'll tell you something. I'd hate to be the White House intern that had to tear that headline out of all the papers and eat them. You know, as I recall, he said he would step down if this happened, right? He said, if I can't beat out Jimmy Kimmel, then I don't think I should be president. And, well, hey, a deal is a deal. Back to Mar-a-Lago you go. We also missed out on this gem.
At Mar-a-Lago with the people wearing the dog outfits, really weird behavior. And that follows Donald Trump throwing all of these events, the Great Gatsby parties at Mar-a-Lago. You know, while the American people are suffering, living paycheck to paycheck, if they're lucky enough to get a paycheck, psychologically tortured by this regime, having their health care ripped away by this regime that refuses to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies and then tries to scam Americans into believing they're going to give us cash or something and we'll negotiate with the insurance companies ourselves. Yeah, sure.
And now he believed that choice was being dismantled before his eyes. If you're finding value in this deep dive into how celebrities use their platforms to hold power accountable, hitting the like button helps more people find this content, and we're just getting started. Carrey didn't stop there. Later in 2018, on Real Time with Bill Maher, he delivered what might be the most concise and accurate description of Trump's presidency ever aired on television. When Maher asked them to describe Trump's character, Carrey paused.
You know, without empathy like that, this character would never have existed. Without empathy, we won't either. And with modern times, he criticized capitalism without a conscience. And that's what we have now. We have capitalism without a conscience.
And by the way, can you imagine if that little pubic scribble said Joe Biden instead of Donald Trump? There would have been another storming of the Capitol. There'd be torches and pitchforks going right up his Pennsylvania Avenue. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt slammed the letter. She said it was fake news to perpetuate the Democrat Epstein hoax. And the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, this guy's a beauty. He is in a tough spot because for years, the wingnuts have been trying to dig up dirt on these.
As Americans can't afford homes, as foreclosure rates right now, really the highest since the Great Recession. I can go on and on and on. Let's talk about what Trump's doing. Trump just bought between $250,000 to $500,000 in Victoria's Secret bonds last month. Very busy there, Donald, buying those Victoria's Secret bonds. As one of Donald Trump's former top supporters, David Brody, said, who's over at the Christian Broadcasting Network.
That old stand-up instinct kicked in. Then he said he's a used car salesman. He didn't make America great again, but he did roll back the odometer. The audience erupted. Maher nearly fell out of his chair. Social media exploded because that single line captured everything. No real progress, just manipulation. The illusion of success, like a shady dealer hiding a lemon's true mileage. That clip has resurfaced repeatedly, including in September and November of 2025.
I just want to express it in a positive way. You know, I mean, I want to turn everything painful into art.
And you react to the pipe bombs. Are you afraid personally ever?
Apparently, I was threatened on Twitter, so I don't know. I didn't see the thing. I heard there was, you know, some severed goat head, and I'll see you soon kind of thing. But, you know, you got to speak, man. This is not a time to clam up, you know, and not a time to get frightened. You know, you have to do what you have to do. This is dire.
This is some report. His active lifestyle continues to contribute significantly to his well-being. He stays fit thanks to frequent victories in golf events. Jordan Love is 6'4", 219 pounds. Honestly, it's difficult to tell them apart. This one's even better. This is Baltimore Ravens linebacker Kyle Van Noy, 6'3", 255 pounds. I don't know. Maybe they just weighed Trump's head.
So, for those keeping track at home, Trump is looking to make Iran great again. He's serving as acting president of Venezuela, is chairman of the Gaza Board of Peace, and literally had the U.S. Institute of Peace renamed in his name. What's next, CEO of Greenland? New slogan, make the Western Hemisphere great again. Hey, MAGA, you good with this? Let me know. Well, you kind of enabled him there, David. Also, you do mention Iran. It should be noted that, remember back on January 2nd, Donald Trump said to the people of Iran, go out there.
Each time pulling in millions of views. People return to it because it's not just funny, it's disturbingly accurate. It makes you laugh, then immediately makes you uncomfortable because of how true it feels. At Vulture Festival, Carrey dropped any remaining restraint. He called Trump a melanoma, not just a problem, but a cancer eating away at American democracy. He labeled him a serious threat to national security. Then he said something that should have dominated headlines. You cannot be bipartisan with a criminal.
And so you just kind of digest the news of the day.
It's an affirmation.
I'm glad some good is coming out of this stuff. This is Robert Mueller.
Robert Mueller putting the squeeze on the president. Just to relieve the stress. You know what I mean? It's a stress reliever.
And here we have...
That's Space Force.
That's the Space
beginning.
Force, yeah.
That's the beginning of Space Force. That's right.
From December 19th, when at a rally in North Carolina, he finally broke his silence on the First Lady's underpants.
Her undergarments, only sometimes referred to as panties.
That's right, sometimes. I can't think of a more fitting or vomitous way to end a terrible year than hearing Donald Trump use the word panties on television. That should be a war crime. It is amazing that he even has...
Take to the streets. I've got your back. If one protester gets killed, Donald Trump said, we will come in there, guns a-blazing, Donald Trump said, and we'll take down the Ayatollah. Okay, well then Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Oman, and others lobby Donald Trump against striking Iran, citing fears that regime change could destabilize the region and also that you wouldn't be able to take out the Ayatollah in one swift strike. So then Donald Trump just posts the following. Fox News. He's quoting Fox News. Fox News.
He warned that the system was being destroyed in plain sight, that Trump was a melanoma, and those covering for him were simply putting makeup on it. This wasn't a comedian performing material. This was a citizen shouting a warning. It landed so hard because Carrey wasn't exaggerating for shock value. He was using the bluntest language he could to describe what he genuinely believed was happening. Later that year, when he accepted the Charlie Chaplin Award for Excellence in Comedy at the BAFTAs, he used that stage as well.
You are
it doesn't mean you're dumb. It doesn't mean you're different. It doesn't mean, you know, the trouble with what's happening right now is these, you know, these really negative forces like the Steve Bannons of the world are convincing us that we're separate, that we're not the same country, that there's two countries. There's not two countries. I can break bread with anybody in this country. I love people in this country. I love the heartland of this country. It has nothing to do with that.
Leave it to Trump to wish a Merry Christmas to himself in writing. And then he closed with this ominous message: enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas. What is that? What is he trying to tell us? He's going down, he's taking us with him? I don't know, but fortunately he did not share that sentiment with a group of children they lined up to speak to him on the night before.
Iranian protester will no longer be sentenced to death after Trump's warnings. Likewise, others. This is good news. Hopefully it will continue. That's the message from the President of the United States. After mass slaughter in Iran, could be 1,000, 5,000, 20,000 Iranians slaughtered by the Ayatollah when Trump said, "I've got your back." Well, Donald Trump says, this is good news. Good news. I spoke to the Ayatollah, and I trust the Ayatollah now. Really? Also, Donald Trump posting,
He never mentioned Trump by name. He didn't need to. Shamelessness is not and never will be a superpower. That single sentence spread everywhere, gaining millions of views and resurfacing again after the 2024 election. People realized Carrey had been trying to warn them. Trump's entire political strategy rests on shamelessness, open lying, relentless insults, no remorse, no accountability. And when confronted, he simply doubles down.